Hello and welcome back to the basement. So yesterday we talked about taking an oxygen regulator and turning it into a custom lamp dimmer. Same principle applies for any kind of an object in which you'd want to insert a lamp dimmer. In particular, of course, a lot of people would want to do it with a big valve. Today we're moving on to the next part of what's going to be our SteamPunk lamp. And every SteamPunk lamp needs, as everyone knows, a big gauge. Now this is a huge gauge, but unfortunately it's not a gauge at all. It's a Victoria Hagen aneroid barometer made in China. No, ladies and gentlemen, this is not a gauge at all. It's some kitschy home decorating thing. The good news is it was only $1.51 at Goodwill. But what it has is a nice metal case in the proper shape for a gauge. It even has a workable needle. So what we need to do is we need to supply an antique looking gauge face and this back. Oh, that's terrible. White plastic? We can't do white plastic. So what we're going to do is take a round sheet of brass. This one was $1.51 from Goodwill, and it's a brass charger. And the cool thing is, it even has a nice circular outline for pretty much exactly the size to fit this case. So we will outfit our gauge with an antique brass back. We'll leave the chrome outer. I thought about painting it, you know, a beat up black or even a royal blue like it was off of a ship or something. My mind's not completely made up on that yet. But anyway, the metal case is what it is. It's not solid brass, so there's no polishing that up. But it doesn't look too terrible with chrome. It kind of goes with our chrome regulator. And if it has a nice big antique brass back, it'll lend it some authenticity. And finally, as we know, if it's going to be a gauge, it's going to have a big brass plug coming out the bottom so it can be screwed onto a piece of pipe. I have a variety of brass fittings and fixtures. We will choose one and we will install it so that it has that authentic gauge look. Let's get started. So we start by tearing it down. It just comes apart by pushing it out. It looks like it was originally held in place with some kind of a glue. See if we can pull this off, trying to give even pressure. Truth is that hand is not really big enough. I think we may craft a new hand. So the face is just a piece of paper. We can leave that there. I don't see a reason to tear any of that apart. That can all just sit there, and because it's not actually going to be a gauge, right? Although it will move a little, maybe. That could be fun. Next thing is to put a back on here. This thing already has these screws in it, and I think they're really just for the looks of the screw head. But we're actually going to use them to hold the back on. So the first question is, how big should the back be? 8.5 inches will be fine. Just a little more than 8.5. So we can just cut around that circle, leaving about 1/8 of an inch free. Alright, so there it is. I pulled the screws out, snapped it in there. So all we have to do now is drill it 4 places and set it where the screws can screw in. Alright, so looking closely at this part, it would be better if the circle in this charger were 1/2 inch smaller. You can see that I don't have anything to drill into. I can't reach the flange. I'm inside the bowl, the depression on the charger. Over here you can see it there. There's no way to drill into that. So I think what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to solder some brass lugs on the inside of the bowl and then drill and tap those lugs from the front. Alright, so I was trying to solder this piece in here so that I could drill through these points and tap it and use it. But I'm not getting a good clean interface for the solder to hold. I could try to silver solder it, that would probably work, but I'd have to really badly discolor the thing, and as it is, it looks fairly intact. And it just seems like a pain. So I'm going to go a different route. I happen to have these older style number 8 by 32 slotted head screws and these nice 8 by 32 brass acorn nuts. So what I'm going to do is mark the point at which the drill bit strikes the brass, and then I'm going to actually drill through sideways. And then this screw will have to be cut to length fairly accurately and then bent on, give or take, a 45-degree angle. And the screw will come through the front of the piece and then bend outward to the correct angle. And then from the outside, all you'll see is 4 of these acorn nuts at the 4 points. I think that will look legit enough. And of course, solid brass with solid brass, it will look vintage enough. I'm just guessing the 45 point. So I've just drilled through here with an 1/8 inch bit, and then we'll pop this in place and see how well we can get this screw to engage. So it's coming out there at approximately the correct angle that I want to see. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be tight, but I'll bet we can fight it in. So I'm going to clip it off. I'm going to go give it a grind, pound it until I can see that the thread's going to start, until I can see the little spiral ramp go in the direction I want it to go. The length seems about right. Doesn't look too bad on the front. Maybe I need to bend it a little bit less. Yeah, I think I need to bend it a little less. I'm going to let this one be a learning experience and then do 4 of them that are just like this but bent less. So let's see if we're going to be able to insert all 4 screws. I'm just going to grant that I will be able to get this together at least once. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to paint this white plastic shroud. There again, I want it to look old. Not really sure the best way to do that. I've thought about painting it with a gold and try to mist it with a bronze. I have several cans of spray paint around. But in the end, I've decided to just go with a satin black. Just take any attention away from this part. I have covered the little stem with a little piece of wire insulation so that it doesn't get painted, so that when I go to push the needle back on, I'm not fighting the paint. So there it is with a little paint around the perimeter. We just want to be sure that anything that you can see through the opening is either going to be the paper that we're about to print as a new dial face or the black. Since we're not reusing the old paper, there's no reason to try to protect it. What we will do now is get a measurement. We're going to do a Google image search, find a likely looking antique gauge, and do a little photoshopping to it and print it out the size we want. So the overall diameter of the circle we want to be 6 3/8. Okay, so I went and did a Google image search for steam gauge. Came back with this. It used to say Kankakee Boiler Company right there, which Kankakee is actually not too far from where I'm from. But it had a big pointer that was kind of messing it up, and I couldn't really fix the lettering. So I just photoshopped out the lettering and kind of left everything else. I photoshopped out the margins and took away a shadow that was there a little bit. It's not perfect, but I think it'll be adequate. Of course, it has that old paper look. Printed it on a color laser printer, I should be precise. And so now I will take this piece of MDF, set my divider out for about the right diameter. Okay, so what I can see is that I didn't print it quite large enough. I cropped it a little bit too small. So I'm gonna have a place up here where you can see through it. So I will go back and fix that. Okay, so this one I told it to print 4/10 of an inch bigger. So let's see if this time So having cut it out to its circular shape, we can put it in place. You see that it drops in there very nice. Now let's see how our slightly too small needle is going to look. I can stand that. It's not perfect. I wish it were a little longer, but I don't like the color of that needle. Maybe make it flat black so it doesn't look so new. Yeah, I'll try flat black and see how that does. And of course I will use some contact cement to attach this face into place. So there is the final face of it, and there is a look at how the gauge is going to look. I mean, no one's gonna fall for it being an actual ancient steam gauge, but it's kind of got that look that's pretty nice. So now all we need is a brass fitting coming out the bottom that we'll attach the pigtail to. So I keep an entire organizer of brass things for situations just like this. I want it to look vintagey, something like that. It's off of a candlestick. Of course, here is what a modern one looks like. And I have a gauge that's messed up. I could just take the one out of the messed up gauge. Maybe, yeah, I think I'm gonna go with this one. Meanwhile, I have some 1/8 inch brass pipe, some longer lengths of it, and I'm going to try heating it up and making a steam pigtail. A real steam gauge would have what's called a pigtail, which is just a loop of pipe to catch any condensed steam and prevent it from getting up into the actual gauge. Alright, so I'm going to turn this down to about 3/8 of an inch and see if I can just thread it like it's a bolt. Alright, so there's that after I ran a 3/8 die down it. So now this 3/8 bolt can screw on there. And then I'll just flip this around and grip this bolt with the 3-jaw. So now we want to drill and tap this for 1/8 inch pipe. And according to my Starrett chart, for 1/8 inch pipe, the drill size is 11/32. Alright, so I have my 1/8 inch pipe thread tap in here with the end supported by a center. I'm not going to try to do it under power. It can tend to get away from you. So we'll just do it nice and steady with a crescent wrench and plenty of lube. And there you have it. Nice 1/8 inch pipe thread for in there. When heating something up to bend it, you always want to try to heat the inside of the radius. The goal is to compress the inside of the radius, not to stretch the outside. This is a Harbor Freight torch, and it really goes through a lot of gas, but boy is it effective. Okay. Oh, that's real nice. Once I get it to the point, it will flow all the way around. You see it come around the backside for us? The surface tension of the solder in its liquid state causes it to wick all the way around. Looks okay from the front. Pigtail is okay. It's gonna have to be a big lamp, but I think I'm putting this on a floor lamp, so I think it'll work. Now let's see if we can get the back cleaned up and squared away. Okay, so there it is. I put the final 4 screws in. Like I talked about, they were a fight, but I would be lying if I told you that I'm not pleased with this thing. I think it's turning out awesome so far. So, you know, we got the pigtail, we're soldered into here, we're screwed into there. There we are bolted up inside there. You know, we put that nut on there and crank that down. I put some JB weld inside here behind this plastic shroud. I put some JB weld in 4 places to keep the pressure forward so that it cannot pop backward, cannot come out. And then, like I say, I installed these final 4 screws, 4 acorn nuts, antique brass back. I'm just loving this thing. I cannot wait to get it finished up. And speaking of waiting, keep waiting. Part 3 is on the way soon. And hey, thanks for watching.